Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4A. My name is Mikee Angel C. Crave.
My name is Jennifer Fe Cruspero.
My name is Chrizeil Jane Colipano, and we will talk about cardiovascular system. By the way, did you ever wondered how the nutrients from the food you intake after digesting transported around your body? Or when you exhale, how does oxygen get transported around? Or when you exhale, how that carbon dioxide transferred out? To answer that question, let us now deepen our understanding about cardiovascular system. Before I proceed, make sure to listen carefully and take down notes for you to remember all the provided details that I will going to present.
The cardiovascular system, also known as the circulatory system, is the transportation system of the body. The three major structures that make this possible are the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. Simply put, the heart pumps the blood in order to move nutrients through the blood vessels to nourish and to remove metabolic waste from the body. Now, let us focus first on the heart. The heart provides the muscle needed to pump blood throughout the body. The blood pumped by your heart provides your body with the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function. Your heart is about the size of a clenched fist and weighs between 300 and 450 grams. Now, the system circulates blood into two circuits, the pulmonary circuit and the systemic circuit. The pulmonary circuit is the part of the circulatory system that transports the oxygenated blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs and returns oxygenated blood to the left side of the heart. Now, pulmonary circuit moves blood between the heart and the lungs. It transports the oxygenated blood to the lungs to absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. The oxygenated blood then flows back to the heart. Now, on the other hand, the systemic circuit is the part which carries oxygenated blood away from the heart to the body and returns the oxygenated blood back to the heart. It moves blood between the heart and the rest of the body. It sends oxygenated blood out to the cells and returns the oxygenated blood back to the heart. Now, what makes up a heart? A heart is a muscular organ with four hollow chambers that consist of two atria, the left and the right atrium, that is located in the upper chambers, and the two ventricles, the left and the right ventricles, which are located in the lower chambers. Now, atria is the superior receiving chamber, and it receives blood from the vein, while the ventricles are the inferior pumping chambers, and it pumps blood into arteries. Now, the heart is also made up of three layers of tissues: the endocardium, the myocardium, and the epicardium. Ang endocardium is the innermost layer of tissue and is a thin, smooth membrane that makes up the lining of the chambers and valves of the heart. The second one is the myocardium. It is the middle layer tissue and it is a muscular wall of the heart. It is also responsible for keeping the heart pumping blood around the body. The last one is the epicardium. It is the outer layer tissue and it is a fibrous sac that covers the heart and the roots of the great blood vessels. That's all for the heart. Now let us proceed to the blood vessels.
The word vessels has many meanings, but in anatomy and physiology, blood vessels are meant to carry blood throughout the body. There are three kinds of blood vessels: the arteries, veins, and capillaries. Each of them has a distinct role to play in the circulation process. Blood vessels are similar to a two-way highway system. The one lane is the arteries, and the other lane is a vein. Starting from the heart, the blood flows to the body through the arterial blood vessels. The largest artery is known as the aorta. This artery provides the pathway for blood to travel through the body from the heart. These arteries are subdivided into two smaller systems, the arterioles and arterial capillaries. Arterioles are the smaller blood vessels that branch out from the larger arteries and lead to the arterial capillaries, which are the smallest blood vessels in the body. Arterial capillary are connected to the venous capillary. The arterial side of the capillary is dropping off oxygen and nutrients to the body cells. The venous side of the capillary is picking up metabolic waste from the body cells. Together they form a network where arteries and veins connect, completing the flow circulatory circle. The blood will flow back from the body to the heart through venous blood vessels. Similar to the arteries, only in reverse, the blood will flow back from venous capillaries into the system of veins called the venules. This venules connect the larger vein which carrying blood back from the body to the heart. Are the largest veins known as superior and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava carries blood from the neck, head, arms, and chest. The inferior vena cava carries blood from the legs, feet, and organs, and the abdomen and pelvis.
Good day! I'm glad that you've learned all the important information and functions about the structure of the heart and the blood vessels from the previous presenters. Our topic is all about the blood. Blood is both tissue and fluid. We can call it a tissue because it is a collection of specialized cells that serves particular functions. That cells are suspended a liquid matrix which makes the blood fluid. Overall, blood is mostly liquid with numerous cells and proteins suspended in it, making blood thicker than pure water. Also, blood transports oxygen and nutrients to the body. It also carries away carbon dioxide and other waste products. For example, in the lungs, blood acquires oxygen and releases carbon dioxide transported from the tissues. I know we are all familiar about this myth. It says, blood is blue in your body and turns red outside your body. If you would ask me if the blood is blue inside, my answer is no. According to my research, human blood is red, and it's always red, but the shade of red may vary. The level or amount of oxygen in the blood determines the hue of red. As blood leaves the heart and is oxygen-rich, it is bright red. When the blood returns to the heart, it has less oxygen. It is still red, but will be darker. I hope this misconception is corrected and clear to you now. To continue, let us define what is whole blood. Whole blood is simply our blood as it flows in our bodies, with none of its components separated or removed. Centrifuge is a machine that spins the blood to separate the components. This technique is called centrifugation. It sends the heavier components to the bottom of the tubes and brings the less dense elements to the top. The blood has four components: the plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Now, let's look closely about the plasma. Plasma is a light yellow liquid, and it is the largest part of your blood. It makes up to 55% of it and has 90% of water. That's why being hydrated is very important. It also carries water, salts, and enzymes. The main role of plasma is to take nutrients, hormones, and proteins to the parts of the body. It also helps remove waste from the body and carries all parts of blood through our cardiovascular system. Next, we have red blood cells or erythrocytes. It is round with a flattish indented center like donut without a hole. It makes up to 45% of our blood. It carries oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and remove carbon dioxide from your body, bringing it to the lungs for you to exhale. It is also called or considered as flexible and assumes a bell shape as it passes through extremely small blood vessels. Hemoglobin is an iron-rich protein found in red blood cells. It gives red blood cells their unique red color, leukocytes. The third component of blood is called white blood cells or leukocytes. These cells account for only about 1% of our blood, but their impact is big. Think of these white blood cells as our immunity cells in a sense that they are always in a war. They protect us against illness and diseases. They flow through our bloodstream to fight viruses, bacteria, and other foreign invaders that threatens our health.
Next, the platelets or thrombocytes. With the white blood cells, they make up to 1% of our blood. These are also cellular fragments or tiny blood cells. They help our body form clots to stop bleeding. If one of our blood vessels get damaged, it sends out signals to the platelets. The platelets then rush to the site of damage and form a plug or clot to fix the damage. Adhesion, the process of spreading across the surface of a damaged blood vessel to stop bleeding. This is because when platelets get to the site of the injury, they grow thick tentacles that help them stick or adhere to one another. They also send out chemical signals to attract more platelets. This is called aggregation, or the additional platelets piled onto the clot. Overall, this illustration shows the blood inside the blood vessels. We have plasma, the red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets.
After the centrifugation, the separation of the components in the whole blood looks like this. We have plasma that is less dense than the others. Next, the buffy coat or white blood cells and platelets. And lastly, the red blood cells. Blood cells are made in the bone marrow. The bone marrow is a soft, spongy material in the center of the bones. It produces about 95% of the body's blood cells. Most of the adult body's bone marrow is in the pelvic bones, breastbones, and the bones of the spine. Blood plays an important role in the cardiovascular system, but without the heart, which is the muscular pumping device, and blood vessels called arteries, veins, and capillaries, the process cannot be completed in order to give life. Indeed, these three must work together. The vital role of the cardiovascular system is to maintain homeostasis. It is a state of balance among all the body systems needed for the body to survive and function correctly. We hope that you've learned a lot from our presentations and take down notes for you to remember all the informations that are given.